And now, last but not least, is Barrie Hathaway, Executive Director of the Stride Center. Welcome, Barrie.
Good evening. I think I need to move this too, right? Well, first of all, I want to copy my colleagues and say thank you to SV2 staff and all of you SV2 partners. This grant that the Stride Center is receiving this year is a tremendous honor. And it was quite an interesting process. If you're close to it, you know that we submitted an LOI, and then we were shepherded to the next level. We submitted a full written proposal. We got through that level, then we had a phone interview, we got through that level, and each time the number of candidates are narrowing, right? So every time I'd get off that meeting or get done with that meeting, I'd say, you know, we made it to the next level. And so then there's a site visit, and then finally there's the final pitch, right? So this is a very engaged process, and a really good process. We had a lot of fun with it. And so to be awarded this grant, it's a significant amount of money for us. It's also an affirmation of our work, and we thank you very much for that. You know, I want to change the story a little bit here because, you know, looking at me today, you wouldn't think that I would be a person that would have benefited tremendously from the Stride Center when I was a young man, but I am. When I was in my first semester of college at 18 years old, much to my surprise, my girlfriend got pregnant. And I had to drop out of school so that I could get a full-time job, so that we could get married, so we could have a family. And I was 18 and poor, without any resources to speak of, no professional network, no marketable job skills. I was in trouble. And there was no Stride Center for me at the time, but there was a good friend's father who shepherded me and made introductions for me and helped me get to work for then a very flashy, cool company called Tandem Computers. Some of you will know that company. And from there, Sun Microsystems, and great companies, great jobs. My point is that I have been poor, and I have been that person who really needed somebody to put their hand out to me. And I have been in companies that now we get to usher our graduates to, and I know how great that is as well. So it's a great honor for me to work for the Stride Center and to be part of this whole system. So now let's talk a little bit about the Stride Center. There we are. No small things to do, right? So what we want to do at the Stride Center is we want to get at this question of equity in our state, in our region, big issue. We want to get at this question of diversity. How do we diversify the workplaces that so want to be diversified? And how do we impact economic mobility for very low-income men and women? This is the main questions we ask ourselves, and we have one primary strategy for that. The thing that I want to reinforce with you today that is so important to me in every conversation I have is we don't talk about the people who are learning at the Stride Center around their deficits. We don't talk about them being poor. We don't talk about them having barriers to employment. We talk about them as the talent that they really are, that employers in this region do not have access to if they don't have the kind of training that makes them available to the kinds of jobs employers need. And nowhere is that more important than in the tech field right now. There's a dramatic shortage of workers in the tech field. So what we're doing at the Stride Center is we're elevating that talent and we're connecting that talent to the companies that need them. We have a when you're poor, getting a quality education around something that's a highly technical professional job is going to be out of your reach. So what the Stride Center has done is created that opportunity, that very high level, high quality training, industry recognized technical certifications, and a series of other trainings that relate to how can I be really successful in these jobs? What does it take to be the top performer in these companies? And how do I adopt those skills and attitudes? How do I get a job? Well, how do I keep advancing in my career? These are the things the Stride Center does in addition to the core technical training. So we have enrolled about 4,000 adults up until now. That's over about an 18-year period. We're definitely the old organization at the table here today. Doesn't feel like 18 years is that old, but compared to 2 years old, I guess it is. We've enrolled about 4,000 people. We're at a clip of about 350 a year right now, so that means that in the next 18 years, it's going to be a lot more than 4,000 people. We have very good results. A high level of course completion, a high level of certification, a high level of job placement. So the program works, the model works, and I know that's what SV2 needs to see. Does it work? Is it achieving a pathway? And can we expand it, which is the case for us? So I talked about that, and I want to talk a little bit about SV2 because this is a really interesting organization to partner with. I mean, first of all, the amount of money that we're being given in this grant is material. It's going to move the dial for us in terms of the work that we're going to do here. That's important. But it's made more material because SV2 doesn't tell us how we can spend that money. It's called general operating funds. We can use it on whatever we see fit. They trust us after being in the process for a little while to make the right choices around that. So that's important. That makes that material amount of dollars even more material for us. And then, of course, we have this other thing, this beyond the dollars support, which we are very excited about getting started with. And I want to call out our Beyond the Dollars folks, Mark and Chris. We just met with our Beyond the Dollars partners for the first time a couple weeks ago. We're working out what is that way that the partners can engage with the Stride Center to help us achieve the things we're caring about in this particular case. We're very excited to get that rolling, and that's going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of thinking about how does this work and how can we make it work better, and we're going to be a partner in that process as well. So, but enough about you and enough about me. Let me just tell you a little bit about some of the people that the Stride Center serves. These two people in this picture actually right now are current Stride Center students, and I want to tell you about Andrew, the young man at the top of that. Andrew, when he was 18 years old, he's 25 or 26 now. When he was 18 years old, he got in trouble. Now think about being 18 years old and how many ways we could possibly get in trouble. And I'm not trying to make excuses for him. He got in trouble and he went to jail. And he was there for 7 years. And while he was in jail, until about a year ago, by the way, while he was in jail, he said to himself, I will not have this be my life. I will not go back to jail. And this young man has just stolen all of our hearts and impressed all of us so completely. He said to me in a conversation we had the other day, we talked about his former incarceration and what he was thinking about that. And he said, look, I did that. That is where I've come from, but it does not define me. And I will not let that define me. And think about it. A young African-American man with no marketable skills and a record. What are his chances in our society? Just really think about that. If you're in this space, you know very, very low, right? So this young man says, I will not let that define me. And he's defining himself as a young man who's taken 4 of our courses, currently in the 4th, completed and certified. That's over a year's worth of training, because these are not 2-week workshops, 6 months, 3 months long courses. Finished his certifications, enrolled at college, so he's now doing one of our courses and he's enrolled at community college. He got a job working full-time while he was in the first class with us in a call center, got promoted to program manager, and now he's just waiting to finish his CCNA certification so he can go out and get that first big technical job in the field. There is no way on earth Andrew Hazelbaker would have been able to make that change without a place like the Stride Center, because he tells us, when I come to the Stride Center, I know I'm welcome and I know I'm okay, and I know from the way you look at me that I'm going to be successful. And he has been and he will be. So this is the work we're doing, and this is why we need your support. And in our work with SV2, we want to expand our programs here in the South Bay, and we want to work with as many of you as we can. If you work for a corporation that you think would be interested in partnering with an organization that is actually delivering talent to them, then let's talk. If you want to volunteer and help young people and people of all ages develop their professional skills, be more ready for the workplace, then let's talk. There's a lot of ways we can do that, but mostly I just want to thank you for this opportunity and be done with this talk. How's that? A little bit of an awkward end, but here it is. Thank you.